Okay, this is Steve, and it's about April 22nd, I think, and we're down here in Clear Lake, and gonna do another interview. So go ahead. What's your name?
I'm Jeff.
Jeff. All right. So Jeff has apparently spent most of his life here in Lake County. So I'm just gonna have him talk and answer some questions. So if you don't mind, go ahead and tell us what your experience with homelessness is right now and what's going on with you.
Oh, well, I guess right now I just been living on the streets, kind of bouncing back and forth from different places and try to stay at people's houses when I can. If not, then I'm out there, trying to at least be in a tent. I just been on the streets mainly got kicked out of my parents' house. I guess for me it was mainly because of drugs and stuff. Kind of brought me down, and I just been staying out here, trying to keep a roof, at least something over my head. Trying to stay warm.
Trying to stay warm, but weather's about to change. So it looks like this last few days it went from cold to hot, and it went from raining to suddenly dry.
Yeah.
And I'm getting the feeling this is going to be a very hot summer. So if you don't mind, how old are you?
I'm 28.
28 years old. So if you don't mind, what year were you born?
I was born in 95.
95. So young man.
Yeah.
And you say you have some skills. So there's certain skills you have, like in terms of woodworking and carpentry and these kind of things. What's up with that?
Yeah, no, I have been working, off and on throughout my life, but kind of having a hard time getting a job at the moment. I got the experience. It's just hard to find work out here.
Well, it's hard to find work when you don't have some of the basics, and one of the basics is telephone. So why don't you tell the experience of trying to get a phone? Didn't you just do that recently?
Oh yeah, well, I finally got a phone, but I had to have my ID and my food stamp card before I could get that. They finally got a little office or whatever down by Safeway where you could get a free phone, and they'll help you out with food and clothing and stuff like that.
So that's a new one, man. Having the phone, they used to set up in a tent, and then they could come at any time or never. It'd be weeks or weeks, and then they show up for a day, and then they're not here for weeks, and then...
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find them most of the time, but...
Yeah. Where do you hang out during the day, then?
I kind of run around, like, between Walmart and Safeway. And sometimes at a friend, if I got a friend that'll let me come over, and I'll go over there for a little bit. Yeah.
So you said something sad happened recently. If, you don't want to talk about it, that's fine, but your brother passed away, maybe from drugs or something?
Oh, yeah, I lost my brother from overdose with the fentanyl. There's a lot of drugs out here nowadays that are just killing people,
Do you know what kind of drug it was that...
Fentanyl.
So was he actually using fentanyl, or was the fentanyl contaminating in something else?
He was using it, kind of. It was just, I think, just changing between, like, from the heroin to fentanyl. But yeah, I think he just did a little too much or whatever. That stuff's pretty powerful. So
yeah, very dangerous.
Yeah.
I know they're using it a lot more, and I have seen people that are actually addicted to it, and they're actually using fentanyl, which before it was kind of used in drugs, and now people are using it as a main drug.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry to hear about that. How did that go? Did you have a funeral? Were you able to have a service for him and stuff?
Yeah, I think my parents did, and they got his ashes and all that stuff, but I don't know, I kind of just shied away from all that, I didn't want to really think about it too much.
I'm sorry to hear about it, of
course.
Yeah. So when you say you have a drug problem and you feel like drugs has been part of the reason that's kept you homeless, could you kind of expand on that? Like, what do you mean? Like, what's some? Let's start with the good stuff. Let's start with you. You said that you were drug free for quite a while. You did a program down in Oakland, which I've heard of before has been a very good program. So why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, I did the program in Salvation Army in Oakland, and I completed that, and I got clean for 2 years. You know,
Could you describe the program? Because a lot of people might not know, but it's a pretty good program.
yeah, it's a working program. You know, it's pretty strict, so you got to get up and work every day, and it gets you used to, you know, living on a normal, regular life. You know, having a schedule and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because you get used to not doing things on the, you know, life's terms, I guess. So,
What's some of the stuff they had you do there? You work in the distribution center where they get donations. And
you
people-
start off like hanging clothes and then separating. Yeah, they you know, collecting people's donations and or putting them up in the stores, and you know, or just separating different items and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not too hard of work, but
How does it work? Do they put you on like general relief so you get money to the program, or how do they fund you being in the program?
well, you could go in if you're on Medi-Cal, they collect your food stamps, so that helps pay for the food for everyone.
Right.
And then, you know, the guys that are in the program could work in the kitchen and stuff.
Mhm.
And I mean, whenever you get out, you know, they help you like get on track, get to like a sober living environment, and they help you get a job, and you know, help you get back into the regular life. You know, they'll give you your food stamps back and try to get you on general relief or whatever, like the so you could get cash and stuff.
Right. So now you were down there for 2 years. How long ago was it that you left the program?
Oh, this was like, I think I left the program maybe like 4 years ago or so, 4 to 6 years ago, something like that.
So you were down in Oakland, and
Yeah.
people don't know Oakland is. I don't know. You could probably be down there in about an hour and a quarter.
Yeah, it's
Not that
about
far.
3 hours from here.
Well, car
Right?
drive.
Yeah.
think? Yeah, it might be.
I think it's about 3 hours, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it is about 3 hours drive. Depends on which way you drive, but yeah, probably
Yeah.
about 3 hours. Because it takes about an hour and a half or two to get to Sacramento, so another hour to Oakland.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you're 28, you said.
28.
So you graduated high school 10 years ago, or did you?
Yeah, I graduated.
When did you first get hooked up with drugs?
When I was 16,
16?
yeah, my buddy handed me a needle with the Dilaudid in it.
Wow.
You know, and I guess I was that type of guy that was willing to try stuff, so I didn't think of anything bad of it, you know. But yeah,
It's a pretty strong pain reliever, so
yeah, and it was probably the best feeling of anything, you know, I have ever tried.
All
you
right.
know, so
That's how you
it
can
got me
kinda-
hooked right away.
sorry to interrupt you, but that's kind of how you can tell your drug of choice. Like the one that makes you feel like you were on the mountaintop talking
Yeah.
to God. Like, you know, you can use so many different drugs, but there's always going to be, I think, for most people, one drug where they say if you could go back to that feeling and feel that same feeling you felt when you were super high that first time.
Yeah.
But did you ever feel that same feeling again?
Oh, not like the beginning. No, I can't get that rush like that again. But
Yeah.
No, it was pretty amazing. But I guess I've been chasing that ever since. You know.
I think that's what it is, man. I think it's that one feeling where you just feel like all of a sudden the world came together,
Mhm.
and you feel super high and you just feel peace. You know,
Yeah.
at least I did. I remember that. You know, the first time I used weed, and it was a really good weed and edible, and boy, I just felt like, dude, I wish I could feel like this for the rest of my life. I felt at peace. I didn't feel
Yeah, it's
angry.
amazing.
I felt
Comfortable.
calm. Yeah, I felt totally like I knew everything, you know, like I was on top of the mountain, like I was a guru almost.
Yeah.
But then it seemed like every time I got high after that, I never felt that same peace,
Yeah.
you know? And all my friends, I could even see them. It was like I was outside of them and I was watching them use cocaine and all these other drugs. And I was just like, dude, what are you doing? You know, why are you doing that? Why don't you feel like what I feel right now? And I don't know. I finally had to quit though. I mean, I got to a point where I said, okay, I can get as much weed as I want. You know, we're in Emerald Triangle. We can get the best weed on the planet, and there's no better weed probably anywhere in the United States than there is within an hour of where we are.
Yeah.
And yet, it's like, yeah, but you're still chasing that desire,
Right.
and it seems like it never ever came back, and things only got worse. So I found for me the best choice was just to stay away from it, even though it's everywhere.
Yeah, I wanted to stop for like 8 years, like after I started using, but it was like, you know, that stuff makes you like super sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, if I would have realized what that shit was gonna do to my life and what it was gonna turn me into, because turned me into a bad person. I was, doing a lot of bad things to be able to stay well and not sick. You know.
Right. Yeah.
But if I would have known that, I would have never done it, you know? It
Criminal type
took me 8
things.
years before I even realized I was able to quit, you know?
Yeah. Well, it is pretty okay. I used to work at a psychiatric hospital, and we had a lot of heroin addicts. This is back 2004, and they would come in, but they could only come in once every 6 months, and so they'd come in and they'd do methadone while they were in, and then they would get weaned off of the painkillers. But sometimes it seemed like the only reason they came in was because their addiction became so expensive that they just wanted to get off so they could go back to getting high off of a small amount.
Right.
And then the doctors there would say, nope, we won't take you back in. And I remember this one dude, he came in, he had an abscess in his arm, dude. His arm was rotting away. And he was going through the withdrawals. He was on the ground crying and screaming and begging. And they said, no, you were here less than 6 months ago. We're not going to give you the painkillers that he wanted. He just got up and left with this big infection in his arm where it's possible his arm could have been amputated.
Oh, wow.
So I saw that 20 years ago, but back then it was mostly heroin.
Yeah.
So how did you access the drugs? I mean, a lot of those prescription drugs were hard to get, even 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, I guess once you're doing it, it's easy to find, you know?
Well, I think that's the people find you. So you went through Salvation Army. How long did it take before you came back here, or before the drug pushers found you and got you back as a regular customer?
Yeah, it took me, I got clean for 2 years. 2 years. And
While
then,
you were in the program?
Well, it was 6 months in the program, and then I had gone out and I got a job and a place to live and everything in Oakland.
Oh, yeah?
And, I had 2 vehicles. I had bought in every tool I could imagine, for, the work I was doing. And, I ended up slipping up a couple of times, and then...
with painkillers or other drugs?
Yeah, with heroin, and then the fentanyl was out, so I tried that, and then I did it one too many times, and I started getting sick again, and that's usually what takes me. Once I get sick, I can't stop, and that was before I even knew about methadone and stuff, the clinic. So I was just full-blown using again.
They have a methadone clinic up in Ukiah. I don't know if they have one here.
That's what I'm doing now. They don't have one in Lake County, but
there's a lady I know in Lake County. They transport her up to Ukiah and for her methadone every day. Yeah, they transport her.
Yeah, they take me to. Partnership does.
All right, so you getting treatment right now? Are you able to stay clean?
I am now. Yeah, I'm actually working on letting go of like the fentanyl and the drugs and just staying on the methadone, because that's what I'm on now. I go up there every day and get the methadone. So now I'm able to stop. You still don't feel good for about like 3 days.
So when's the last time that you used say fentanyl or anything you're not supposed to use?
It's been probably just a couple of days for me.
So it's pretty early on in your trying methadone. So how do they pick? Okay, this is the thing I want to talk about, if you could, because you just went through this. Getting your ID and getting your birth certificate, not having an address, not having a phone. That's the shit that is very difficult for people to understand if you're homeless. You don't have a place to have your mail. You don't have a telephone for someone to call you. You can't get a food card without an ID. You can't get an ID without a birth certificate. So you've been through some of that.
Yeah.
Tell people, how hard is it to get anything going when you end up in the situation you're in? Like, how hard is it to just get your feet back on the ground?
I don't know. It's ridiculous, man. It's almost impossible unless you know a lot of people that are willing to help you, and not too many people around here are willing to help out. I was fortunate enough to have like my mom and stuff around, and she was able to help me with a couple of things like that. But most of the time, she didn't even want to deal with me. So it was pretty much a big struggle trying to get a hold of all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just it takes a long time to make something happen, just to try to get on your feet. And a lot of people just say screw it and give up because it takes, it's so damn hard.
You've seen a lot of people like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost easier just to give up and just, you know what I mean?
Stay high.
Yeah.
That's what I see people doing.
And most people do,
That's the lady I interviewed recently. Literally started off the interview saying who she was, how old she was, and said, I just do what I want every day. I eat what I want. I use meth. And I don't have to do anything I don't want to. And she smiled, and I, where do you sleep? On the park bench. All her stuff got taken by the city, and I was just thinking, she doesn't really want help,
Yeah.
And you sound like you want out of this, and you want to get back to a life where you're working and you're productive, and seems like you're kind of on your way. I mean, how hard was it to get into methadone? What was the process for getting that the help? Partnership is a medical plan, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have to find the partnership transportation, so you got to call them, and which they're kind of a pain in the butt to deal with. But but you also have to have a place for them to pick you up. You have to have an address and a phone and everything, or they'll just come by wherever you say you might be, and they'll give you a call to whatever number you might have given partnership. Because you have to give them a phone number, even if you don't have one.
Right.
And the drivers, a lot of the times, they'll just go wherever you say you were, call that number, and if you don't answer, they'll leave,
Right.
So it's like, until you get a driver that understands your situation and where you're at, and that, you don't have a phone for them to call, and you're, they got to go down to this ditch and in this bush and find me right here,
Right.
Once they figure that out, and you have a steady driver that understands your situation, then it gets easier. But I mean, at first it's like, dude, you're missing day and day, and you're missing a lot of days trying to, when these people are actually, the drivers are coming to get you, but they just have no way to contact you and stuff.
I don't think a lot of people understand how hard that is. You did a good job explaining it. Like this lady recently, she said, I had all my stuff here in the park. I went down the street to my friend's house. I came back, the city had taken all of her stuff. So everything she had now is gone. She's got to start over. So what do you do with your stuff during the day? You got your backpack.
Oh man, I got everything I care about, I got to carry on me, which is a pain in the butt because I can't trust to leave it anywhere with anybody.
We talked about that. There's this one guy I knew, I'll say his name. His name's Neil. He had a car, and he used to go around. He'd follow homeless people, and he'd brag about it. And he one time I told him, I said, hey man, there's a bicycle down at the store. I thought maybe he needed one. He goes, no dude, there's this homeless guy. He's been leaving his bicycle down there. I'm gonna go down and snatch it up. And then I started asking him more, and he actually was part of running the NA program in this county. So I thought he was okay. And he literally had cars parked around the county, and he would go steal homeless people's stuff and stash it in his cars and then turn around and sell it to other people. And I was just like, this dude's a complete psychopath.
Yeah, he's screwed up, man.
I know, he comes across like he's helping people, and he's actually robbing them.
Yeah, because the good stuff that these people out here have is like, that stuff, that's what gets them by every day. That's how they're taking care of themselves.
Yeah, a bicycle could make the difference, and a good sleeping bag. But yeah, I bought people sleeping bags and stuff before, and some of them are too high. They just can't even take care of their own stuff. But a lot of them, I found out what was happening is they would leave their stuff somewhere and it gets stolen.
Oh yeah.
Middle of winter, and they got no freaking sleeping bag because some other dude took their sleeping bag. Like, you didn't need that sleeping bag.
Yeah.
He was just gonna get it and sell it to somebody else for $5,
right.
So he could buy drugs. So that's hell. What do you tell the crowd? Have you lost your ID and lost all that stuff before?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
What's the
man.
process for going and getting it? Just kind of helps people understand how hard it is.
I mean, everything is so far away. You know, you gotta, you know, you gotta have money for a bus if you want to take a bus. I mean, I pretty much walk everywhere I gotta go. I mean, most of the time I got blisters and shit on my feet just from walking so damn much. You know.
It's hard to find a bus pass.
And it's hard to get bus passes. I mean,
There's only a couple
even
places that
social
sell 'em.
services don't give you bus passes. You know.
No, and there's only a couple places in the whole county that even sell them.
Yeah, and people don't like. One or two places might give you bus passes. You know, the only, you know, if it ain't the jail.
Right.
But
Oh, have you been locked up in this jail?
yeah.
How hard is it to make I know, by the way, how hard is it to make a phone call from the jail to anybody who's not actually in Lakeport where the jail is? Like, if you had to make that free phone call.
Oh, I don't know. I never was able to really myself.
Yeah, because you got to put money on.
You got to
someone's-
have money to be able to. Yeah,
A
or
free phone call costs money.
yeah, exactly. Or
if
you
it's
got to
not in
borrow.
Lakeport.
If you don't know somebody in the jail, you got to, you know, that'll let you use their money to call someone. And
To make a phone call is not.
yeah, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, the people. In order to make a phone call from the jail, the person you're calling has to have like $20 on the particular plan, and the phone that's inside the jail is different than the phone that's outside the jail. If you get released once you walk
Oh,
out
yeah,
the door, it's a
and-
completely different phone system. So they have to have $20 on that to get the free phone call. Your free phone call is not free unless they have $20 on their phone.
One thing that sucks about this jail too, especially with people that are addicted to like, you know, what I'm addicted to, because we get really sick. You know what I mean? Well, like a lot of times these jails, they'll release you. You know, they'll arrest you and they'll want to release you. Like really late at night, you know,
yeah.
and it's like I've had to walk.
Yeah,
like
you're,
I've
10
had to
o'clock
walk.
at night, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and then if you have to walk from Lakeport to Nice just to have somewhere to go or something, like you're walking through fucking, you know, there could be mountain lions. You know, there's all sorts of shit going through the slough right there, and cars trying to hit you if you didn't get locked up with a phone and a flashlight and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
they release you at nighttime, and it's scary out there
Pouring down
sometimes.
rain,
You know.
but you got rested. You were in your
And-
shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, or if like you're coming down because you don't have no drugs and they release you at night. Like I've been out there so sick from getting released from jail. I'm literally shaking, you know what I mean? And it's nighttime. I just started standing in front of cars, you know, trying to get them to stop just so I could get a ride somewhere. You know what I mean? Because I was hurting so bad. It was like they shouldn't have even released me because I was that sick.
You should have got
Some
take you
sort,
to the ER or
yeah,
something
some
like that.
sort of like care before they can't release someone.
They
like
don't
that.
care, man.
They don't give a shit.
They only care. The only thing they care about is their breaks and their food, and you can't even ask them anything.
Yeah.
Once in a while, and plus the thing is, like, people don't realize. Let's suppose you can call somebody. You don't even know their phone number because it's in your phone on auto dial. Who the hell even knows a phone number anymore?
Yeah,
Unless they
exactly.
give you your phone, if you have a phone, to look up your phone number. Even if you could call somebody, you can't call somebody because you don't know the goddamn phone number.
Yeah.
The only free phone call when you're in jail is to the bail bondsman. Those are the only free phone calls, you know, and they want money. So if you don't got money, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Oh man, brings
There's
back some
like-
bad memories. Sorry.
Yeah, there's like one homeless shelter out here, which is the old juvenile
The
hall
old
now.
juvenile hall.
But I heard that place is just almost impossible to get into now because it's so packed and filled up, you know.
Yeah,
And
they got
yeah.
one here too called Hope Center. I think there's one down here.
Oh, okay.
You don't know about that one?
Not really, no.
I'll get you the phone number after we're done because I know there's one down here.
Yeah.
And plus, you're getting sober now, so maybe they'd be interested in helping you. It's run by some lady locally, but I think it's called the Hope Center.
Yeah.
So you got the first time you used drugs. What about your childhood, if you don't mind my asking? Like, what kind of childhood do you feel like you had? Was it stable? Was it difficult?
Yeah, I mean, I had good parents and stuff growing up, and you know, they were wealthy. They worked at good jobs and stuff. I just, yeah, everything was all good. It's just like, you know, I got caught up in some bad drugs, you know, and I the thing is, like, they don't understand the what that shit puts me through, and you know, it makes me be somebody I don't want to be, you know, and turns me into this person, and like, and they don't want to help me. They just think like, oh, well, why don't you just stop and get better, you know? So I've never really had like my parents' support when I started messing up, you know. They just kind of want to like throw me out there and say, well, fucking deal with it or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is your mom and dad still together?
no, No, they're not. They're separated. My dad's in San Diego now, and my mom's here, but she don't talk to me no more right now.
Because of the drugs?
Yeah.
So you think if you straighten stuff up with the drugs, she probably... Or
Yeah,
would you want to?
not really, not right now, because she kind of just like turned against me, you know, because I'm struggling,
Yeah.
you know. I don't think you should give up on somebody just because they're having a hard time, you know.
Well, what do you feel like you did? Anything that might be able to straighten out that would help it, or is it just the drugs that's kind of the wall?
Yeah, that's probably what it was, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So if you had 3 wishes, what would your 3 wishes be?
Oh, it would be to let me see. I guess it would be to at this point just to like have a normal life, you know, like just like to be just to be not have to struggle, you know. I guess have like a somewhere I could call home. That's one of the biggest things, is like just having a place to go that I could call my own, you know.
Yeah.
And and you know, to be able to I guess just to feel like people cared, you know, more about, you know, each other.
So I know, like I was telling you about this other guy named Joe.
Yeah.
He's been homeless for like at least 6 years in this county, and he recently got housing. So they built some housing up in Nice.
Yeah.
And I think he got it through Tribal Voices. Is that what the place is
Tribal
called?
Health or something?
No, not Tribal Health, but Tribal Voices.
I never heard of that.
Okay, so down on Main Street,
Mhm.
I think Main Street and 5th, there's a little county mental health facility back there, and they built some housing up there, and there's homeless people who just got housing, and he literally just got into place 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
And this is the first time in 6 years, so maybe I'll write some of that stuff down for you, or you know, if I give you a ride, if you want to ride, maybe I could just take you by there. And I don't know if they're open, but I'm pretty sure that's where he got help. Another guy that I know, he got out of this county, and maybe you found out in Oakland, you got better services.
Yeah,
This
definitely.
county is...
Yeah, Lake County sucks, man. It's like, yeah, there ain't nothing around here.
It was the poorest county in all of California. There's
Mhm.
52 counties in California. It was the poorest county in the state. It might not be anymore.
Yeah.
But
The other 2 counties are very rural. Hardly anybody lives there.
well,
That's why they don't have a big tax base. But this, we got 20,000 people here, somewhere around there.
yeah.
And so this is the most impoverished county.
Yeah, because there's Amador County and a couple other counties.
Siskiyou and what's the other one? There's another one.
Shasta,
maybe
Trinity, Shasta.
But it's only because no one lives there hardly.
Right. Well, once the economy collapsed, once they legalized weed in 2017, those economies crashed.
Yeah, those people that were.
Oh, that was where all the money was coming from, and the money was coming from weed.
Yeah.
So every other county, Mendocino County, just north of here, has a better economy because they have so many weed growers. But once it legalized, people don't understand. Before, I don't know, because you weren't into weed, but some people know that back in 2015, a pound of really good weed, probably you could get it for $800 to $1,000. Sound about right?
Yeah. Not only legalization, but the just sheer amount of people coming to these areas
Yeah.
from outside, everywhere,
Right.
flooding the market. I mean, it was different things.
Right, but it's 2015 before it was legalized.
I was
$800 to $1,000,
I was getting like 35 back in the early 2000s.
but not from local people.
No.
Outside.
Well, LA,
Yeah.
but that time.
Yeah, local probably like 1,000 to 1,500.
Yeah. And then
you know?
2017 came and they legalized it, and the price went to $200 a pound
Yeah,
for
it
top
dropped
shelf
to
weed.
nothing, yep.
The best weed you could possibly buy was $200
Yeah, you
a
can't
pound, and
even-
you could buy it all day.
Can't even pay people to trim that shit.
You
anymore.
couldn't. No, there was
Uh-uh.
no money in it. So the bottom dropped out. And then I think that's what really happened. My take on this is that what happened is once weed was legalized, all of a sudden I started seeing more pills and more harder drugs.
Mhm.
And that seemed like that's what
Yeah, everybody was into weed at one point.
Yeah.
Even I was. Everybody was.
Yeah.
And then that went away.
Well,
That
because
went away
there's no
and, like,
money in it.
Mhm.
And so in order to make money, they got to sell something that they can get a profit off of.
Yeah.
And then it went to fentanyl, which is inexpensive.
Because
And then
that's
they use
what
that.
people get hooked on, and they have to have it, you know?
Yeah, because it's like this. Well, look what we got next door is a Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, there's a Starbucks next door. So the Starbucks, you get people hooked on that, and they're willing to pay $3 or $4 for a cup. You know, one cup every day, $4.
Lower caffeine.
And then if you bring, this is the funny thing about Starbucks. If you come back later in the day, you can get a refill for half price. so they're gonna get 2 out of you. Man, one time I was into those Starbucks Frappuccinos,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I gained 20 pounds in like a year and a half. On my way to work every day, I would stop at the Starbucks, and then I looked at the calories. It was 700 calories in a Frappuccino, and I was like, damn, now I know where the hell I gained 20 pounds, man. I was
And caffeine.
every single day I'm drinking 700 calories on my way to work.
All day.
Man, okay, so you got hooked up in drugs, but weed was, what's some of the alcohol? Did you ever have a problem with alcohol?
When I got clean, I did. That's what kind of led me back to the drugs.
All right.
I got bored and started drinking.
So one of your wishes is to get your life back stable again, and to get housing.
Yeah.
Well, there was 3. Did you have 3?
I guess, yeah, and then just like, I don't know, just to maybe help others after I get my life together, you know?
That's something you might be able to start with sooner than you think, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But if you had I could be wrong. It sounds to me like if you had stable housing and you had treatment, you'd like to get back to work and you'd like to get your life on track and like to be productive.
Yeah.
What about a relationship, like girlfriend, whatever?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, yeah, I just found out she was cheating on me and shit, so I would like to have a girlfriend I didn't have to worry about that with, you know? Because that one hurt a little bit,
Sounds like it.
yeah.
Anything else you would say to anybody who, what's the homeless situation like and what's it been like for you? What are some of the, I don't know, advice that you could have to people to avoid it or to survive it or anything?
I guess, I mean, I don't know, man. Just to keep asking for help, you know? I guess.
What about counseling and therapy? Have you tried any of that? Has it been helpful at all?
Yeah, I mean, it does help, man. If you're really willing to change, you know, they have like programs and shit you could get into, which will lead you. Like, even if you're not a drug addict, you could get into rehabs and stuff. And most rehabs, you know, they will help you get back on your feet, you know, if you're willing to go through all that to get there, you know.
Yeah.
But
And you had a sober living after you got out?
yeah, I mean, yeah, they'll put you in sober living and they'll help you get a job and all that good stuff, you know.
So what are you gonna need now? What do you think's gonna be your next steps?
I guess for me, I'm just trying to, you know, get off what I'm doing, the drugs, and trying to get a job, you know.
How long? Okay, let me ask this. I'll ask this question if you don't mind. What's your drug of choice? Like, if you could go out and get high without any negative effects, let's say, and you could just get as high as you wanted to, what drug would it be?
Without negative effects?
No, I mean without like being in trouble or getting caught or anything. If you could just be as high as you wanted to on anything you wanted to.
Well, at this point, it would be fentanyl. That's what it's gotten to, yeah.
Okay, so just the question: how long would it take you from here, where we're at, to fentanyl? How fast could you find it, and how much would it cost?
I mean,
Just give minutes or travel. Or
$20 in 10 minutes.
$20 in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So if I gave you $20, you're not going to go buy fentanyl, are you?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay.
No, hell no. I gotta stop that stuff, man.
Okay.
I'm actually really trying to stop because that's the only thing that's been bringing me down, dude. Like, without that shit, I know I could work and stuff. And
If I gave you $20,
know,
what are you going to do with it?
what am I gonna do with it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably get cigarettes. That's one bad thing I'm gonna get with it.
Oh, dude. Okay. I used to work in a psych hospital, and I asked every single person who came in there, hardest drug to quit. So I'll ask you, you've been addicted to fentanyl. What's the hardest drug to kick? And we can include cigarettes.
I don't care what people say. Opiates are the hardest one. Fentanyl's the hardest one to kick.
Okay.
I mean,
Heroin
yeah.
came up, and then other people would say tobacco.
I mean, heroin, it's just opiates in general. That, you know, it all falls in the same category. Fentanyl, heroin, coke.
Yeah.
I mean, not coke, but pills and any opiate, you know?
Yeah.
That's the hardest one for me to quit, you know?
So 10 minutes and $20 and you could be high again. That's how easy it is. And so I think that's one of the hardest parts of quitting. Say if you're addicted to alcohol, it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But here in this county, meth is everywhere. Fentanyl's pretty much now everywhere. Weed is everywhere. And it would, like you say, 10 minutes or less. You could have it wouldn't take 10 minutes or less.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
It is. It's very difficult to get off of. All right. Well, anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, thanks for the talking to me, and I wish everyone the best. It's and also if you're in Clear Lake and you're homeless, I would carry a stick around because there's like packs of dogs and stuff everywhere.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you
I just heard about
that.
this, like 4 pit bulls just tore up this one dog, shredded him to pieces, man.
They're down here.
They
in Clear Lake.
literally have like these packs of dogs, like they gang up together and they're just like they're stray dogs. They're out here hungry and they have nowhere to live too, you know.
People don't.
They're dangerous, man. Like it's scary walking around at night around here because like there's dogs all over Clear Lake. I always have a stick and some mace or something with me, you know.
Yeah, I've heard of dogs in this place. The dogs will go down to the dog park, jump the fence, kill the dog, jump back over the fence, and take off.
Oh yeah, they're bad, man.
Yeah, because people just let their dogs go here.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, people who are not from up here don't understand. There actually are. When he said mountain lions, there are mountain lions. There are actual mountain lions walking
big
around.
ass mountain lions.
Yeah, and they will kill your dog. They'll kill
your
you. Cat if they can get you. So mountain lions. But one more thing about transportation between communities. How do you even get between communities? You got to wait for the bus. The bus will pass you up sometimes. No bicycle lanes. No sidewalks, right?
Yeah, and I don't know, the bus is on some kind of crazy schedule. And it only, the bus around here only, like the latest one is like 6 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. You need to get to Lakeport from here. You ain't getting here on the bus. The very last bus is at 6, and they won't wait for you, man. They'll leave at 5:58 if they can.
Yeah, and there's not really places to walk. You'll get hit by cars and shit, you know. It's dark out.
Nowhere to walk, no sidewalks, no side of the road.
Yeah.
5 casinos, so people are driving drunk all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, or fucking falling asleep and,
Yep. How many people do you know that got killed by being hit by cars and stuff?
Yeah.
All the time. All right, well, it was nice talking with you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.